B Movie.
And
Again.
Kayla. Are we
Again.
live? Are we good?
We should be. I'm gonna go check my channel and see if it's live. Okay, it says we're live. So hopefully this time we're not buffering, because it's just annoying. It's annoying that we buffer.
But here we are.
Quality doesn't look great, but
I don't know.
Looks super blurry. But you know, it's all good.
Well, look at our beautiful faces.
Okay, so the quality doesn't look great, but you know. Alrighty. It'll have to do, is what I'm thinking.
Have to do. One person's watching.
Retro Media Man has faith.
Boom. Thanks, baby.
Nice. Nice.
Here we are.
No offense to the book, but now I hate it more.
It's cursed.
It's cursed. It's a cursed book.
Yeah.
Do you still like it?
I do.
That's
Why
good.
are we watching Quiet Cafe?
I don't know. Oh, I was looking to see how our stream was going.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right. Hopefully it looks okay. I know I'm looking at it. It's a little blurry, but I don't know. Hopefully it's okay for you guys. All right. We're doing the best we can here.
Yes.
Okay. So, yes.
Vampires.
Vampires. All right. This time, get them like this book in a nutshell.
Okay. 2 kids.
It's shorter every time.
Town with their dad who just got divorced, and there's mysterious shit going on. Turns out it's vampires.
It's vampires. So in a nutshell, what I'd already said about why I don't like it is it beat for beat kind of follows the plot of the Lost Boys down to like the characters and stuff. It's grandma instead of grandpa. It's a sister instead of a younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
But it is relatively the same, even as far as if you know who the leader of the vampires is in the original movie,
mm-hmm.
then you know who it is in this. It's just kind of a gender bent version, but it lacks the bloodshed of Lost Boys. Lost Boys has got some pretty scary scenes in it where people get attacked. And this one, it's almost like trying to make you guess what's going on, but it doesn't work. Their marketing doesn't work because their marketing is saying, hey, if you like Lost Boys and Buffy, hey, if you like vampires, this is a vampire book.
Yeah.
So maybe the author should have communicated with the marketing team and been like, no, I want them to be kind of guessing, but
like a mystery.
Even then, she copied Lost Boys so closely, I would have still come to these conclusions.
But for somebody like me, like I hadn't Lost Boys, so I didn't. I mean, I was a little bit predictable, but I didn't see it coming the way that you did.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we watched the Lost Boys, towards the end, I was like, oh, if it is who I think it is, then this person's going to be the lead vampire.
And they were.
And they were. Even though I didn't want them to be in the Lost Boys, I was like, no, I don't want that person to be.
I know.
But, anyways, also it just made me want to rewatch Gilmore Girls.
Which is kind of funny because the Lost Boys is kind of playing off of Peter Pan,
yeah.
which is why they, their mom is
yeah.
basically Wendy,
yeah.
and he wants her to kind of, take
raise
care of his
those
boys. Yeah, it's twisted. There's actually a Lost Boys remake in the works because originally Lost Boys was supposed to be about like kids. They're supposed to be about like 8 years old.
Okay.
And
very creepy.
Which would make more sense with the whole his proposition of my boys, your boys. We're gonna have like a weird vampire Brady bunch. But then Joel Schumacher came on to direct. And he's like, no, this needs to be sexy. And they're like, Joel, my dude. They're like in middle school, and he's like, no, they're gonna be in high school.
Yeah,
and be sexy.
It is,
which is brilliant because it's one of my all-time favorite movies. It's definitely in my top 5.
Jason Patrick.
Oh my gosh,
so hot.
So
honestly,
great.
The saxophone guy,
he is my spirit animal.
He's amazing.
I love this guy. There, right now, my Alexa, I can't say it or she'll hear me.
Yeah.
In my bathroom isn't working, but that is my go-to shower song.
Oh yeah.
I will be like, play Tim Capello. Yeah. I Still Believe, and I'm like in the shower, never once fell down.
No. He's cool.
I love him. He
living,
was on Joe Bob.
He's living his greatest life.
He's the best.
I love that
thing
man.
Ever.
But this book, for me, not having that backstory,
didn't even have a saxophone guy.
It didn't even have the saxophone guy, but I liked the way that she wrote it. I felt like it makes me want to read more by this author. What's her name? Suzanne Young.
Yes. Forever young like a vampire. She's a vampire.
Yeah.
I will, so let's talk about what we like about it, to be fair. So to be fair, what I liked about it, she is funny. I can't remember off the top of my head because it was last month that I read this. I can't remember off the top of my head what some of the lines were, but I remember there were some pretty funny lines where I was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
She is really funny.
Yeah, the banter between Marco and Theo is cute. I liked Nona more so at the beginning than at the end of the book. She was kind of a hard to understand her motive character. Like, she kept a lot secret from them, and she probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, it was kind of strange. At first, she was very adamant about like not going out and stuff, and then she sees that they are, and she's like, "Well, oh well."
Deal
and
with
it's like
it.
we know that she knows what's going on, and considering what she supposedly knows, I was surprised she didn't do more.
Yeah, me too. But
I would do more if it was my grandkids.
I liked Theo as a character, and I liked Marco as a character. And I really liked the way she wrote it. Like, I was intrigued. I was like, oh, what is going to happen next? And I didn't really want the book to end when I was done with it. I was like, I could read this style of writing for a really long time. So that's what I think I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads just because I really enjoyed it. It's easy to read. It was fun to read. And I would have recommended it.
I did like that it was a sibling relationship because a lot of times it's more like focused on like a romantic relationship, especially in YA. And I thought that was a cool difference. I thought the town was cool. I liked the town legend. I was really hoping she would go Sirens instead.
Yeah.
I think that could have been really cool because the town's legends and stuff were really cool. That stuff that was unique to the book was the best stuff. Like, I almost feel like the author didn't trust herself enough because she's funny and she has some cool ideas. I would rather read her book than her take on the Lost Boys.
I agree. Yes, I agree with that 100%.
I do think she has some talent and stuff here. I just wish she would have trusted herself a little bit more.
Because the way that the siren thing kind of fit into it was cool. That part was really weird, and I wanted more of that because that was not like Lost Boys at all.
Yeah, that part was cool. And there was like a mural and stuff.
And a shipwreck.
Yeah, there was some cool stuff going on there. So I would really like to see what she does when she's not going off of somebody else's template, because it felt very kind of locked into trying to be the Lost Boys. And that was for me the most annoying thing. It also says that there's a comparison to Buffy, which there's not.
One line where she was like, I can't fight vampires. I'm in high school, and that's the only time that I was like, oh, there's our Buffy.
So what we didn't like a lot, I don't think the villains were developed at all.
No.
I will say, like, how like Theo and Marco, their relationship was good. It's not scary. It's not remotely scary.
No.
These girls I didn't find them at all threatening. Like, you can't not compare to Lost Boys because she made it so close to Lost Boys. David is scary, even though he's sexy. Even though he got a mullet, he's sexy. David and the Lost Boys. I think Kiefer Sutherland, that he has a presence.
I think my mom thought he was hot. So for me, in my mind, I'm like, there's like a block on Kiefer Sutherland for me.
But would you think you could take that character? Like, he's scary.
Oh, no, he would murder
He's intimidating.
me.
Minnow and the crew in this do not intimidate me at all. They were not remotely scary. They're basically like Mean Girls. Only Regina from Mean Girls is scarier than these girls. These girls are not remotely scary. The leader of their group is not remotely scary. So, yeah, it just doesn't deliver on the horror. When vampires finally are revealed about 60% in, you get a little bit of like daintily like licking the blood off their fingers, and I was just like, oh, for fuck's sake. I have read Goosebumps books that are scarier than this. This book makes Goosebumps look like 30 Days a Night.
Yeah,
it's tame.
Yeah, it's very
really tame.
I mean, they kind of have like a big battle.
Is it still laggy? It's got to be my internet. There's nothing more I can do about that, though.
We're here. We're just gonna
it's just our internet. The only thing I can think is maybe I don't know, our bandwidth is stretched a little thin, but
I'm not on your Wi-Fi, I promise. I'm not on
I don't know. This is our third time doing it. At this point, I'm just gonna plow through ahead.
Yeah, we're here. Well, shit, what was I gonna say? Oh, there's some stuff towards
Sorry, Zigma. Sorry. This is our third time doing this because we tried on 2 other ones. I thought it might be OBS, so I moved over to StreamYard. It's just our internet. For some reason, our internet's crap today, even though I have fiber.
Our POS system went down.
Maybe there's something in town.
I said it's aliens.
Maybe.
But who knows? We'll find out when they abduct us. Maybe it's vampires.
So, yeah, I don't recommend this book. I didn't think the writing was terrible or anything, but I just didn't think it was that interesting of a story. I'd give it like a 2.5. I can see why some people would like it. It was not for me. What's your thought?
I gave it a 4. I thought it was written really well. I thought it was really well written, and I hadn't seen Lost Boys, so I didn't know that it was shot for shot. So I really liked it. And yeah, and when I watched Lost Boys, it didn't take away from the fun I had reading it. So, but I do think if it had been swapped, if I had seen Lost Boys first, I probably wouldn't have.
And not just have I seen Lost Boys first, it's one of my favorite movies. Yeah. So that probably had a say into it. What else did you read this month?
I'm about halfway through The Toll. I'm getting farther into that book.
How's that?
It's good. It's getting good. There's like full-on ghosts now.
Ooh, ghosts.
It's really good. It's a fun book. And it's the guy, I think I said this last time, the guy who's narrating it sounds a little bit like Christian Slater. So it's really fun. And then you recommended a book to me in your 70,000 books that you read in the month of August, Night's Edge. And I finished that one too.
That's so good. Yeah. Such a good book. Yeah. Really, really do love Night's Edge. That's my favorite book of the year. It's so good. Yeah. Highly recommend that one because there's going to be a sequel next year and a TV show. I also read Camp Damascus this month, which is really good. Particularly because I kind of, being Wiccan, you told me that you've got a overly religious conservative main character. I'm like, oh, I'm probably not going to latch on. You have that in this book, and she is very likable. She's very easy to read. And you find out there's something messed up going on with their town's gay conversion camp, which, I mean, I know they're already messed up, but this one's extra messed up. So yeah, it's really, really well done. Great LGBTQ plus book. Highly recommend Camp Damascus. What else did I read? I read a book called Cooter.
Yeah, you told me about that one. Not my style.
Zombie rat that comes out of a girl's vagina. Not for everyone, for sure.
No, not for me.
The other books I read, Mary, which is one of my now all-time favorite books. Good sci-fi books. Nick wrote The Martian.
We have a copy of that at home, so we'll be reading it.
Very good. That was the guy who was in space, and he has no memory of who he is or why he's there, and slowly begins piecing it together and figuring out what his mission is in space. Really, really good. That's going to be a movie soon. I also read The Insatiable Hunger of Trees. That one is kind of cool because I like when someone does something really creative, and she basically creates a brand new monster that we haven't seen before in this town where they have legends about like Bigfoot and stuff. Her sister went missing, and it's been a year, and then all of a sudden her sister shows up and is acting really, really strange. But it's really good. I like books that are kind of themes for other things, and this one seems like kind of a theme of having to like let go of people or, grief and stuff. So it's good. I also read De-Evolution. That one I listened to the audiobook on. That's by Max Brooks, who wrote World War Z. That one is Bigfoot, and it's really, really good. Highly recommend. Judy Greer is the narrator, and this fun. Douchey LA people moved to this like really tiny settlement in the Pacific Northwest, but they want all the comforts of the city. So they want the good Wi-Fi and the groceries delivered. And then there's an eruption on Mount Rainier. Oh, my word. Because they're in Washington, and everything goes crazy, and they have no access to the outside world, and nobody really knows that they're in trouble because they're away from where they should be in danger. But basically a troop of Big Feet ends up coming into their area, and they're not friendly. They're not Harry and the Hendersons. It's really bad.
I might read that one. So
really good.
I don't believe in Bigfoot. I firmly don't believe that Bigfoot exists, but there's nothing scarier than a scary Bigfoot.
This one was really good, and what I liked about it was it kind of explained why we don't see them anymore, because they recognize that we have better tools and we're more predator. But then they come across these people where they don't have a lot of those resources. And the other thing too is the food that they're used to preying on, like the deer and stuff. They're gone. There's no food available. There's been a volcanic eruption.
Yeah.
So they're like any animal, they're desperate.
Yeah,
so yeah, it's really scary. It's really good. I recommend the audiobook for that because they've got really good people, because it's kind of like you're supposed to be listening to her journal tapes.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like you really are listening to it. And they also interview like the woman whose journal has found her brother, who Nathan Fillion does that.
Oh, cool. I love him.
I love him too.
Yeah.
What else did I read? I read The Only One Left, which is a kind of a cool gothic mystery in this small town where there's a legend of a woman who, as a girl, killed her sister and her parents, kind of like Lizzie Borden. She's an old lady now, and she can't talk, and she's in a wheelchair, and this woman has to care for her, and she basically types to her that she wants to tell her the real story of what happened.
Yeah.
This book has so many damn twists. Like, just when you think you got it figured out, there's another twist. So that one's good.
I think I'll probably read that one too. I started following like a bunch of people that like read books on TikTok and stuff, and I hear them talk about that author a lot. So I'll probably read that one too.
Oh, I'm going to put your husband in a Bigfoot movie. I was like, my husband, you are my husband. Just talking to Kayla. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Well, you guys have, and my husband claims he's seen a Bigfoot, but we all know it was a bear.
I saw Bigfoot at Crypticon.
It wasn't real. He's not real.
No, he's real.
He's not real. I will die on this hill that Bigfoot is not real.
He's in the Geico commercials.
No, Bigfoot's not real.
What about Littlefoot from Land Before Time?
That's a different story, and that makes me cry. You will make me cry. I can't think about that little dinosaur.
I know, that one makes me so sad. What was it with like all Don Bluth's movies making you cry?
He must have gone through some trauma or something, because All Dogs Go to Heaven, Secret of Nim. Land Before Time, though, is the worst. American Tail is also really sad.
Also, the little girl who did Petrie's voice, like she died as a child. Like, everything about it said. Yes, that's it. Ducky.
Yeah. Yep.
The last one I would recommend that was really good. Sorry, I read a lot of books. The last one I would recommend is a book called A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher. So I'm already instantly a fan of her. I've not read any of her other books, but I definitely have to. That one was really freaking good. I like that our main character, it is, a woman who's an entomologist. She studies bugs, and I love bugs too. So she goes to visit her mom because she's on a project delay with what she's working on at work. And she notices right away that the house doesn't look right. Her mom had it all painted all vibrantly. She had cool stuff on the wall. Now there's this really gross Confederate wedding painting that she hates, that her grandmother loved. The walls are stark white, and there's roses in the backyard. It's just the way her grandmother had it. And her grandmother was kind of a terrible person. And her mom used to swear and be fun. And now if you swear, she's like, shh, we mustn't do that. And it's just like, what's going on? Are you possessed by the grandmother? Is the grandmother haunting the house? What's going on? Yeah. And what's really peculiar is there are no bugs. Zero bugs. And these black vultures keep watching the house.
Spooky.
So she starts putting it together. But what I didn't expect about that book is it's really, really funny. So I highly recommend A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher. It was really good.
When you were talking about that book, it made me think of the She Is a Haunting book.
It's like that book, but really like better.
That's okay.
And I liked that book. That book would be like a solid 3. I liked it. The difference is this one's really funny. It's also got witches and stuff in it. I really liked the main character a lot. I just really liked her. She's like in her middle age. She's like, it's not about like who she's like got a romantic interest in and stuff. She's very honest. She's, knows who she is and stuff. And I just really liked her. I like that she's an etymologist. Like she gets embarrassed with herself because at one point her bedroom is covered in ladybugs and she's freaked out and she's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe I just squealed." You know, I'm not afraid of bugs, like but they're everywhere.
Yeah.
So she was really, really cool. Anyway, those are all books I recommend. Do check us out on Goodreads. You can find me on there. You can find Kayla on there and see what we're reading, what we recommend. You can find the Bloody Book Club on there. For every book that we read for Bloody Book Club, we separate it into quarter by quarter so you don't get spoiled. But yeah, you just go on there and post your thoughts. I try to, I don't know, post some questions and stuff so we can discuss
you're really good at it. I'm really not. I need to get better at it. Hopefully this one I'll do a little bit better at it. But
oh no, Danny, I didn't mention the Killer Bathtub book because I don't recommend it. I read Stay Out of the Bathtub. It was terrible. It was terrible. It was terrible. They had terrible characters. And what's worse is I read it out loud to my husband. And this is a book where people get skull fucked to death.
Oh.
It was awful.
Ew.
It was awful. There's ghost rape. It's awful. It's terrible. No, I don't recommend it.
Zigma said something about the Bobaverse books.
Oh yeah, I want to read those.
I have the first one on audiobook and they were recommended to me as well. I had Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy on and a customer came in and was like, "Oh my god, if you like this, you'd really like the Bobaverse."
Yes.
And I was like, Bobaverse. The way I heard it in my head was like Baba verse, not Bob verse. Like it's like a universe, but it's
the Bobaverse.
I didn't get it. But I get it now.
Yeah, We Are Bob, and I got them all. I've got all the audiobooks. So I'll have to check them out next because Zigma did recommend Project Hail Mary, and I love it, and I love Rocky Amaze. It's so good. It's so good.
I'll read that one too. We have a copy of that one. So
I like Stephen King too. Actually, that's one I didn't mention because I read it this month, but I just finished Salem's Lot. And Stephen King just released a new book called Holly, about Holly Gibney, which is a character that was in the Mr. Mercedes books, Bill Hodges trilogy books, and was in The Outsider and If It Bleeds. So I'm probably going to read that here soon.
You haven't started it yet, though.
Nope.
Were you going to read the other ones first, or are you just going to dive into
I thought about that because I haven't read any of those. I know the Holly Gibney series is supposed to be, like, not even counting the Bill Hodges trilogy. It's supposed to be Outsider and If It Bleeds. I thought about it, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and read Holly, and if I like it, I can
go back.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. That's a great idea. Yeah.
It was your idea.
It was my idea. I have good ones sometimes.
Yes.
For our next book that we're reading, what is it called? How to Sell a Haunted House.
How to Sell a Haunted House
by Grady Hendrix.
Yes. So I did start that, and so far it might be my favorite Grady Hendrix book. Granted, I've only read Horror Store and My Best Friend's Exorcism, but I do love Grady Hendrix. This was my most anticipated book of the year, and it's so good. One of my friends was like, "It's really entertaining, but it's not scary. If you're afraid of Muppets or dolls, it's really scary."
Yeah. There's definitely a doll puppet thing going on.
Danny could not handle this book.
I'm liking it. I'm not as far as you are.
Yeah.
You're like over halfway through, aren't you?
I'm almost done with it. I'm at 75%.
I'm like 20% in.
I'm listening to the audiobook while I'm at work, so it's easy for me to move through it.
I also waited until like just the other day to start it because I didn't want to forget, like after reading Night's Edge and it being vampire-y with this other one being vampire-y, I was going to get confused. So
yeah, I'm reading another book called Whispers by Brian Dearborn right now, which is very Scream, but there are some elements that are similar, and I had to kind of back burner that one.
Yeah.
So far I love How to Sell a Haunted House. So please join us in reading it. There on Goodreads, you can get a link. You can find it on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, any of the places. But it's really, really funny. Grady Hendrix is really talented at making books that have very likable characters. Because I've read books by authors that are funny before, and usually you get kind of shallow characters. He actually has really great characters, and there's usually a lot of heart in his books as well. But yeah, I really like his books, and this one's so far really good. Yeah. And there are parts of it too where I swear you get so angry. He's organized the book by the stages of grief, like bargaining, acceptance, all those, denial. He's organized it like that, and there are parts of it where I was like so flipping angry.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's in a good way because you're supposed to be.
I hate that brother.
Yeah, her brother is such a jerk.
So much. Like, and she's way too nice to him.
And that's the funny thing is I really hated him too, and he gets so much worse.
Great. Cool.
But then you end up getting a couple chapters where he explains why he feels the way he does, and I still think he's a jerk, but I get him a lot more.
Okay, because I feel like I'll never get him.
Watch the trailer, FKR, No One Will See You.
I think he meant to say 4. No One Will See You. It's a new alien abduction.
Oh, we'll have to check it out.
We watched it earlier. It looks so good and so scary.
Have you seen the trailer for the new Exorcist movie?
Yeah, I think that one looks really scary too. But you're not impressed.
I don't know. I mean, I'm excited that it's gonna be a Halloween Horror Night. Like, hopefully be a cool haunted house. It looks like parts of it could be really scary.
I think it looks good.
I'm just nervous because the early like the screenings for it were not good. People were not happy. But people were not happy with his Halloween, like the second and third ones. And I really liked the third one.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Unpopular opinion.
I think it looks really scary, but I think that kind of thing is scary.
Yeah, I'm reading Lion Queen mentioned it, and I read to Danny sometimes at night, and he doesn't like leaving anything unfinished. So back when Lulz was in his 5 Nights at Freddy's phase, I was reading to Lulz, and we would go camping, so Danny would hear it too. The Silver Eyes, and we never finished it because it's lame, and it's really long. And then Danny mentioned we never finished that book, so now we're rereading it, and
so I don't know anything about 5 Nights at Freddy's.
They're written by the guy who created the game.
My stepson loves the game. Like his stepdad also loves the game, and so it's like a whole thing. But like I don't know anything.
There's a movie coming out.
I know, I saw it, and also what was that one movie with Nicolas Cage?
Oh, Willy's Wonderland. That was awesome.
Is it a similar?
I don't know. The new movie's got Matthew Lillard in it, and it's got Josh Hutcherson, who was in the Hunger Games. He is adorable. I'm not sure. Willy's Wonderland, it borrowed a lot from 5 Nights at Freddy's, like their lore as far as like them possessing like the characters and stuff. Like
the movie was weird, but it was good.
Yeah. So the books go into more detail. I'm sure if you're super into the games, maybe I don't know. I like the games. I don't know. I'm probably being too hard on it. Anyway, hopefully I'll be done with it by the next stream. I am so sorry for the technical difficulties. I had hoped moving to StreamYard tonight, we would get past the buffering. My internet is garbage today. I think it might be something that's going on in town. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It happens.
Your internet was bad at work or something?
Our whole Square, we use Square for our POS, and it froze. And I just checked the update before we started, and it still wasn't working. So hopefully by the time I'm done here, I'll be able to go get it going.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll be better by the next time. I'm sure it will be. These things happen. Yeah. These things happen. We did try. And I had a good time hanging out with you.
Yeah, talking about really books. Lovely.
So How to Sell a Haunted House, our next book. We've got a good lineup for the rest of the year.
I'm excited about our next book. So after How to Sell a Haunted House, they're all on our GOODREADS.
Yeah, you can see all the books that we've got planned for the year.
But I can also
and then next year, we're going to not only do books for each month, but we're also going to do a challenge where you can pick any book you want, and we'll talk about all the different books we read.
Yeah. So How to Sell a Haunted House for September, and then for the month of October, we'll be reading Dark Harvest by Norman Partridge.
Can't wait to read that.
That looks good. And then in November, we'll be reading episode 13 by Craig DeLuey.
That looks exciting too. I've met him. He's so cool.
That's so fun.
Yeah, he's from Canada. I met him at Crypticon. I didn't know he'd be there. And he wrote Suffer the Children, which is one of my favorites. And I was like, oh, bummer. I would have loved to have you sign it.
Yeah.
And I sent him my book, and he was really sweet.
Nice.
He signed it and everything.
That's really sweet.
Really good.
And then for the month of December, we'll be reading Hidden Pictures by Jason Rekulak.
Yes. So I'm excited. I think that we got a great lineup.
We
got a great lineup. So yeah, join us on GOODREADS. I think the more people who start reading the books with us, the more excited we'll get. I know Robin did read In Nightfall. with us, so that's cool. It's cool. Like, that's the whole idea is like reading is kind of a solitary thing, but a book club makes it social.
Yeah, you get to talk about it, the things it evokes in you. Like Night's Edge was a very emotionally heavy book. We didn't read it for book club, but like it
was a buddy read.
Yeah, it was a buddy read. And that was a really heavy like book where,
I think books that make you feel stuff are really good. In Nightfall, I'd say if you are interested in it, that's more of like a summer read. It's just breezy. It's just supposed to be a good time.
Yeah, it was. I had a blast reading it. I had a really good time. I do want to read more by that author because she is a very good writer.
So. But I mean, I think that's kind of the way with summer reads, because like I really liked This Delicious Death. You weren't as into it. I didn't
like that one that much.
They're light, so at least they're easy to read.
Yeah, took a week, maybe.
And Zigma says, if you like end of the world stuff, check out Stargate and Outland. And Zigma, you got to check out some John Scalzi books. I think you'd really like him. He's got a new book called Starter Villain with super intelligent cats coming out soon. He's really funny.
That sounds fun. I like the movie Stargate.
Pip writes words in this web. Pip is not interested in anything I have to say. Poe might be. He's talking about my tarantulas. I have many tarantulas in here.
Yeah.
There's 7 spiders in this room.
But they're not.
And 2 dogs.
Yeah.
And 2 humans.
It's a lot of bodies.
Yes.
This puppy is
There's probably more spiders than that. Anyway, the dogs would really like our attention. Yes. And I think we've talked about all the books.
Yeah, we explained this book like 4 times.
But it was fun. Yeah. So hit him, Kayla.
Yeah. I don't know what I hit him with. Come and watch us and read the next book, In Nightfall. No, we just read In Nightfall. Come read.
Oh, and your haircut looks really good too.
You.
Kayla got a new haircut, guys.
Read Down Little Haunted House with us, because it's going to be a good one.
And like I said, Grady Hendrix, right now, of modern authors who are currently writing books, he is one of my favorites. Whenever he comes out with a book, I'm like, I will buy a book. Yeah. Anything he writes on name alone.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. So I think, and I'm reading it now, and already it might end up being my favorite book of the year. I love it.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. It's a fun
He's
one.
Laugh out loud funny. Like when you're embarrassed, you're reading a book and you start laughing like an idiot and people are looking at you like you're crazy. That's a Grady Hendrix experience. So please read it with us.
What does he give it? He gives it a Rufio out of
the Frog Brothers. Okay. Rufio from Hook.
Yeah, no, yeah, I get it. I get that one.
I know.
But I still don't get his comparisons.
He's borrowing from Dr. Wolfula, who has nonsense reviews. Basically, the more you have to look at how much he likes those things. So he likes the Frog Brothers. He likes Rufio, but I think he thinks Rufio is ridiculous. So I think he thinks this is ridiculous fun.
I like it. Perfect.
He didn't even read it. Just ignore him. Yeah. Okay, and everybody read Project Glorious. Audio. There are some books where I will say you have to get the audiobook of it, and Project Hail Mary is one of them.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Until we meet again.
Blessed be.